Hello students, welcome to the series on international business. Today we will discuss this topic, regional economic integration, part 6. In this lecture, we will cover the following topics: Trans-Pacific Partnership (TPP), Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership (CPTPP), Integration Efforts in Europe, the European Union. Trans-Pacific Partnership (TPP). The Trans-Pacific Partnership was a proposed free trade agreement among 12 Pacific Rim nations that was signed in 2016. So, it is a proposed free trade agreement because some changes happened and finally, the form of Trans-Pacific Partnership changed with the change in number of member nations. So, initially the goal of TPP was to reduce tariff and establish high trade standards among its 12 member nations, creating a large free trade area in the Pacific Rim. So, many countries comes under Pacific Rim. So, the initial 12 member countries were Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore, the United States and Vietnam, all falling in the Pacific Rim. The objective of TPP. The TPP aimed to liberalize trade, create common rules for various economic fields, foster innovation and promote sustainable growth in the region. It was seen as a way for the US to exert influence and counter China's growing economic power in the Asia Pacific. So, to counter the rising power of China, this TPP was formed. It was signed by all 12 nations in February 2016, but its ratification was stalled by political opposition in the United States. So, the change in leadership happened in United States and Donald Trump became the president in 2017 and he withdrew US from TPP. So, the TPP never entered into force because the United States withdrew. So, the US withdrawal spearheaded by President Trump in 2017 prevented the treaty from being ratified. The remaining 11 countries, however, continued negotiations and formed the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. So, the acronym is now CPTPP, that is Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. This is the successor agreement that incorporates most of the original TPP's provisions and is now in effect. So, if as we have discussed, the goal of TPP was to reduce the tariff, liberalize trade between the member nations. So, that continued barring one of the member who withdrew, and that is the US. If we talk about the membership of CPTPP, as we said, initially TPP was of 12 countries, but with the exit of USA, so after the withdrawal of US from TPP, the remaining 11 Pacific Rim countries renegotiated and formed the CPTPP, which incorporated most of the provisions of the TPP. It entered into force on 30th December 2018. Now, presently the 11 member nations are Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore and Vietnam. Now, the key characteristics of CPTPP. Free trade agreement is the first characteristic. Obviously, the member nations are entering into a kind of a free trade agreement. The CPTPP aims to liberalize trade and investment among its member countries by setting common rules and standards. Pacific Rim focus. The agreement connects economies around the Pacific Rim, fostering greater economic cooperation and integration in the region, going in accordance to the goals of its origin. Now, if you remember, now as we have discussed that the origin of CPTPP is the TPP, that is Trans-Pacific Partnership. So, the CPTPP is built on the foundation of the original Trans-Pacific Partnership, that is TPP, taking effect with after several original signatories withdrew, including the United States. The purpose and benefit of CPTPP. First is economic integration. By providing preferential market access, the CPTPP helps to reduce tariffs and other trade barriers, making it easier for businesses to trade and invest across member countries. So, economic integration is the first and the foremost purpose of any kind of regional economic integration. Competitive advantage. Member countries benefit by giving a competitive edge in the Indo-Pacific region, accessing new markets and attracting more investment. Another benefit is investor protection. The agreement also provides investor protection, which is crucial for cross-border economic activities. The next is broader market access. Businesses in member countries gain access to a significant market, with the UK's accession creating a market of approximately 500 million people according to the UK government. Integration efforts in Europe. Now, Europe is a major economic integration area, and over several years integration efforts were undertaken in Europe. So, if we study the history of this drive towards regional economic integration, it is quite interesting when we talk about Europe. So, if it moved through different stages, and these stages are from Single Market Act, Single Market in Financial Services, Maastricht Treaty, European Union, European Monetary Union, Monetary and Economic Union. The European Union has seen it all. So, let us discuss these stages one by one. The first is Single Market Act. Now, this was signed in 1986, amending the Treaty of Rome. The objective of Single Market Act was to remove all barriers to free flow of goods, services and resources, to create a fully integrated single market by the end of 1992. One step ahead of single market was Single Market in Financial Services. So, the financial markets gained from Single Market Program. The Capital Liberalization Directive abolished exchange controls by June 1990. So, before June 1990, some of the European countries were having exchange controls, especially Germany, but after Capital Liberalization Directive was abolished, so the exchange controls also went away in June 1990. Maastricht Treaty. This was signed in 1992, which pushed the process of EU integration further by including an agreement creating the common currency, the euro. Euro came into being in January 1999. European Union. It is by far the most successful common market, and we have given the example of European Union in everywhere whenever we talked about regional economic integration. Its origin goes back to the end of the World War II in 1945. We will discuss the European Union in detail in the later part of the lecture. Then came the European Monetary Union. The largest and the best known monetary union is the Eurozone, which initially the euro is the monetary unit utilized by 12 of the 15 countries in the EU. Monetary and economic union goes one step further. Such unions were adopted with the goal of facilitating trade and strengthening economies. So, initially individual countries along with some other countries formed the economic unions or custom unions. Like Germany formed custom unions in 19th century, France, Belgium, Greece, Italy and Switzerland formed monetary union in 1865. But later on EU in itself became a monetary union. Now let us discuss three main bodies which came into picture when we talked about formation of European Union. So it started with formation of European Community. So European Community is an international organization formed from the consolidation of three Western European treaty organizations. So these three Western European treaty organizations were the European Economic Community, the European Coal and Steel Community and the European Atomic Energy Community. So, all these three were taken together and the European Community was formed. EC is an economic and political organization of European countries formed after World War II to reduce trade barriers and increase cooperation among its members. The original members of what came to be known as the European communities were the inner six: Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands and West Germany. So, these were the 6 countries, they formed the European community. The treaty established the European community. It was ratified in 1965 and took effect in 1967. The United Kingdom, Ireland and Denmark joined in 1973, Greece in 1981 and Spain and Portugal in 1986. The European Community, previously known as European Economic Community, by name a common market, was primarily designed to integrate the economies of Europe. So, if we see this map, we can see how European Community was formed over the year and slowly other countries joined hand and it became a big community. The objective and working of EC or EEC. So, previously it was EEC and then it became EC. The EC or EEC was designed to create a common market among its members through the elimination of most trade barriers and the establishment of a common external trade policy. So, that was the idea, having a common market, elimination of trade barriers and establishing a common external trade policy. So, as we have discussed in different levels of economic integration, it is one of the best example. The treaty also provided for a common agricultural policy which was established in 1962 to protect EEC farmers from agricultural imports. The first reduction in EEC internal tariffs was implemented in January 1959 and by July 1968 all internal tariffs have been removed. Between 1958 and in 1968, trade among the EEC's members multiplied in value. The members committed themselves to remove all remaining barriers to a common market by 1992. The Act also gave the EEC formal control of community policies on the environment, research, technology, education, health, consumer protection and other areas. So, it also undertook wide areas of where reforms took place in EEC. Then came the European Union. In 1993, the 3 communities were incorporated under the European Union. Whether we call it EC, EEC or common market, all were merged to form a European Union. It remained as such until 2009 when the EU legally replaced the EC as its institutional successor. The European Union is a political and economic union of 27 member states that are located primarily in Europe. So, if we talk about the member nations, barring United Kingdom, which exited from the European Union, which is popularly known as Brexit. So, the remaining 27 countries are Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czechia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain and Sweden. So, these are the 27 countries which are still members of EU, and many other countries are trying to get the membership of European Union for the obvious benefit of larger market, freer trade, free trade agreements and all. So, this is the whole picture of the European Union. You can see how countries have joined together and it became a big union covering most of the Europe. The EU has developed an internal single market through a standardized system of laws that apply in all member states in those matters, and only those matters where members have agreed to act as one. So, they are not imposing everything on member nations, only on those matters where they have agreed upon. So, there the EU's decision prevails. Aims of the European Union: free movement of people, goods, services and capital within the internal markets obviously are the aims of European Union. Also, it aims to enact legislation in justice and home affairs. Maintaining common policies on trade, agriculture, fisheries and regional development is another aim of the European Union. Passport control have been abolished for travel within the Schengen area. So, now you can, if you enter a Schengen area, you can move from one country to another in that area without a requirement of taking visa from each of the country, because once you have entered you can move freely. A monetary union was established in 1999, coming into full force in 2002 and is composed of 19 EU member states which use the euro currency. So, it not only a common market, it has become a monetary union as well. From the beginning of the 2010s, the cohesion of the European Union has been tested by several issues, including a debt crisis in some of the Eurozone countries, increasing migration from Africa and Asia. So, several problems were faced by European Union as well. Coming to Brexit and the EU, initially right from the formation of EC, EEC, EU, UK was part of it, and then UK became the member of European Union. But a referendum was passed in United Kingdom on its membership of European Union, and it was held in 2016. 51.9% of participants voted that the UK should leave the European Union. That was very unfortunate because United Kingdom was a very powerful country in the European Union. Though they never took euro as their currency, the pound the British pound always maintained its status. So, this is one of the country besides Sweden and one more country that they maintain their own currency and didn't take euro as their currency. Now, UK had certain problems with European Union because the European Union had more say, and it was dominated by some of the countries like Germany, which was very softer towards immigration and many other issues which UK didn't like. since you know that if if a person enters into that area, it is very easy for that person to move from one country to another. So, UK considered it as a threat also. Though for UK there was always a separate visa policy. So, British visa was different from Schengen visa. It was not covered by Schengen, or they did not abide by Schengen. But movement from Schengen to British visa area was easier. So, anyhow, with the referendum in favor of leaving the UK, that UK thought of leaving the European Union. The UK formally notified the European Council of its decision to leave on 29th March 2017, initially the formal withdrawal procedure for initiating the formal withdrawal procedure for leaving the European Union. So, but it took time because it was so much into European Union that tearing away the ties from European Union was not easy, and it took many years to finally sever its ties from European Union. And since it is Britain's exit from European Union, it was called Brexit. The transition period lasted until 31st December 2020. So, the decision was taken 2017, but finally UK left the European Union on 31st January 2020. So, that is the history of Brexit and the European Union. Still, European Union with its 27 members with different benefits like common market and monetary union, economic union, it is one of the strongest regional economic integration effort with a common currency as well. So, EU holds that position where it is the most successful regional economic integration or bloc, economic bloc. So, that is all for today. Let us summarize whatever we have studied in this lecture. So, it started with the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Now, it is about the Pacific Rim, and US was also part of it and Canada was also part of it. So, Trans-Pacific Partnership was proposed. It was a proposed free trade agreement among 12 Pacific Rim nations that was signed in 2016. The US withdrawal, spearheaded by President Trump in 2017, prevented the treaty from being ratified. So, US exited from the Trans-Pacific Partnership when Trump became the president for the first time. The remaining 11 countries, however, continued negotiations and formed the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. Now, this is known as CPTPP. We also mentioned CPTPP when we were discussing the USMCA, because many of the provisions of CPTPP is valid in case of or they have been included in USMCA also. The key characteristics of CPTPP is they are free trade agreement and Pacific Rim focus, and always it strived to work for the benefit of the 11 member nations, and they took up most of the provisions from the predecessor, that is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The integration efforts in Europe passed through different stages. The stages are Single Market Act, Single Market in Financial Services, Maastricht Treaty, European Union, European Monetary Union, and Monetary and Economic Unions. So, slowly it became stronger. In 1993, the European Community, the European Economic Community or the Common Market were incorporated under the European Union. So, first three bodies were merged to become the European Community. Then the European Community and all other bodies were merged to form the European Union, and European Union came into picture in 1993. With the exit of UK, United Kingdom, the European Union is now a political and economic union of 27 member states of Europe, and it enjoys a greater degree of free trade between the member nations, with free movement of factors of production, goods, services, people, intellectual property from one country to another. Also, it has a single currency. It is not only a common market, but it is also an economic union, and hence European Union can be considered as one of the finest and the biggest and strongest regional economic integration effort or regional bloc. So, that is all in this lecture. For your references, some of the books are by C.B. Gupta, International Business, S. Chand Publication; Sumati Verma, International Business, Pearson Publication; Chaturvedi and others, International Business, MKM Publishers Private Limited; Hill and Hult, International Business, Competing in the Global Marketplace, McGraw-Hill Publication. Have a good read, have a good understanding of the topic. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you very much, students.